To all my friends here at YouTube, how are you today? Well, I'm back in the kitchen. I'm just on the other side of the counter. So maybe you could look at something else instead of my range hood all the time. So remember last week, if you were watching, I told you that I was doing some recipes with Benedictine for the next week or two, or maybe more. But I'm also honoring a request today. Oh, by the way, I'm Monica Van Buren of Tampa, Florida. I had asked a couple of weeks ago if you had any requests. And one kind soul said, I'd love you to make a Singapore Sling. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. When I was growing up, a lot of these sweet drinks were very much in style, and especially for younger folks. There wasn't quite the amount of alcohol consumption or awareness, I think, back then. You know, it was a keg of beer at a college party, a slow gin fizz, a Singapore Sling, a Mai Tai, that kind of thing. We weren't drinking martinis and Manhattans. Now, as we got older and we were professionals dealing in the business world, well, then there was the martini lunch. And all of that has kind of changed over the years. So people are more savvy and want more upscale brands and want to step out and experiment and try some different things. But this is a blast to the past, so much so, the Singapore Sling is said to have originated at Raffles, which is a famous luxury hotel in Singapore, by their bartender in 1905. I didn't write his name down in front of me. And part of the reason is no one ever knew what he put in the drink for sure. So this is kind of a guess and by golly, and then they became more popular again in the 1930s. And there's all kinds of variations in this recipe. So if you have one that's different than mine, don't be surprised. So let's give it a go. All right, I have a shaker of ice right here. And the first thing that I'm going to add is gin. I know, it seems like I use that a lot lately, but that was common on a lot of these older recipes. So we're going to do 1.5 ounces of gin. And as usual, I'm using my Bombay Sapphire, although I am going to start experimenting with some different gins. So I'm going to have to look at my cheat sheet here because there are 8 definitely, possibly 9 different ingredients in this cocktail. No, it's not an inexpensive drink to make. So the next thing that I'm going to add, and this is kind of substitute, because the next thing that should be added is called cherry herring or cherry brandy. Or if you didn't have that, you could add some Luxardo. There's a cordial that they make. Well, also Kirschwasser. Kirsch. Well, my liquor store that I deal with, which is around the corner but very big and great prices, didn't have any of them. So what I'm going to do, this is just my idea, I'm going to add some of the Luxardo syrup, which will give more of that cherry taste, which is what it's known for. So, and you know the Luxardo maraschino cherries, they are very expensive, but they're so worth it. They're not like those bright red things that you find in Publix or Walmart, you know, for $1.99. All right, the next thing that I want to add is the Benedictine. And I'm just going to add 1/4 of an ounce. So I'm going to turn this around because it's a little easier to see in this side of the measuring cup. So just 1/4 ounce of Benedictine. I hope you're having a good day. It's beautiful here in Florida. the temperatures are starting to tip upward in the mornings, in the 60s, and then they can get up into the high 80s. We're not quite in that 90 yet, thank God. And then water, 1/4 ounce, either of Cointreau, which is an orange liqueur, or instead, if you have it, you can use triple sec. So it gives that orange flavor. Obviously, with all these different fruit flavors, it's a very tropical drink. And what's next? 1/4 ounce of grenadine. And going right to right here. It's a syrup. It's going to make this drink very red. Did I have grenadine before? No, but I do now. Okay, 1/4 ounce of lime juice, and I already have that measured. And then 2 ounces of pineapple juice. So you haven't seen me use this before. I love pineapple juice, but it's so high in carbohydrates that I don't eat it or drink it. But I love pineapple. Nothing like a pina colada. The best one I ever had in my life was fresh pineapple out of the fields in St. Lucia and off the coconut milk off the trees. Divine. All right, we're going to mix this up. Okay, that's nice and cold now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to, this is very similar to a Tom Collins glass. I've had the ice chilling in here, so probably there is some extra water, so I'm going to pour that right off. It's not exactly how you would do it. I don't have an ice chest right here. I didn't want to put the glass chilled in the freezer, leave the camera, walk away, come on back, and then do this. And then I'm going to strain this. Probably should have used my strainer. Now, if you want, this didn't go all the way to the top, you can also fill this up with some club soda. I'm going to taste this like it is and see what I think. I think I'll add a little. I think a little fizz in there would be good. It's very sweet. But I've had these before. It's been a long time, but I think I got it right. If I didn't, you'll let me know, right? Politely. All right, and so it's recommended you use an umbrella, a slice of lime, a slice of this, a slice of pineapple. Well, I happen to have orange and a maraschino cherry. So I'm gonna dip my little toothpick right in here, like that. See how dark they are? That's the Luxardo cherry. They're very sticky. And then a slice of orange right on the side of the glass. And there we are, a Singapore Sling. Delish. What I think I'd like to do is stir in that club soda. What seems to happen is some of the, like the syrup, the grenadine, have a tendency to go down into the bottom of the glass. That's better. Wow, that took us almost 10 minutes to mix, didn't it? It's worth it though. And I hope, my friend, that you happen to see it this week that I made you a Singapore Sling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this camera. Hopefully I don't bang into everything else. Yep, there I am. Gonna move it around. Just give me a minute here. And I'll show you what I'm wearing. This is just a simple spaghetti strap dress, as you can see. And I wore a little sheer top over this. And obviously, it's a dragon. So I thought that would be appropriate for our Asian inspired drink. Let me walk away and you can see the back of this. And I'm wearing, I hope you can see them, they're red booties actually, and they have a lucite heel. Can you see that? And peep toe. So my little white toenails are just peeking out of there. The light isn't good right up here, so I'll come over a little closer to the light. So, I will see you next week with another new cocktail with some Benedictine. Requests are gladly received. And I wish you the very best of days this week. And remember, don't forget to be kind. Pass it on. It could mean so much to the someone who is on the other receiving end. Namaste, my friends.